Ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto is in panic mode because two most dangerous political players in the Republic of Kenya, that is Edwin Sifuna and Rigathi Gachagua, are planning to team up to send him home in 2027. Edwin Sifuna dropped that hint yesterday.
Muulize bwana senator, kuna uwezekano watafanya kazi na Rigathi Gachagua pamoja na alternative government? Kuna swali hilo.
Kwanza wacha niseme kwamba jukumu lililopo mbele yetu ni zito sana. Mimi ninakubali kwamba ni jukumu zito. William Ruto, for all his flaws, pia yeye ni mwanasiasa, pia yeye na watu wake. Sasa yuko na serikali upande wake, wanasema wako na deep state. Yale mambo yote ambayo tulikuwa tunaambiwa na sisi. Na kwamba kibarua hicho kinahitaji kwamba kuwe na ushirikiano.
Yes.
Itakuwa jambo la kuvunja moyo sana ati tuamke 2027 William Ruto amepita na kura 1200 kwa sababu Sifuna alimea pembe akasema yeye pia ako kwa debe. Kalonzo akasema ako kwa debe. DCP wakatoa candidate. Iwapo mtampa William Ruto hiyo nafasi ya kurudi, tutakuwa tumewakosea wa Kenya, kwa sababu wa Kenya kwa kweli wanaumia.
Allow me to begin this video by asking you this question. Let's assume Edwin Sifuna and Rigathi Gachagua agrees to work together. Do you think William Ruto will have a chance in 2027? Because according to their plans, they want to front someone else. And for me, that's dangerous. In this video, I want to reveal to you guys why William Ruto is actually worried about the possibility of Edwin Sifuna and Rigathi Gachagua working together. Before I do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, number one reason why Ruto is worried is because clearly there is a grand anti-William Ruto's alliance which is taking shape in the Republic of Kenya. Let me demonstrate. It began with the united opposition, which brought together Kalonzo, Rigathi, Natembeya, Matiang'i and the rest.
Mimi nitaungana na Wakenya wenzangu.
On Sunday, at a rally in Nairobi, Eugene Omalo, the leader of DAP-K, among the other leaders of the United Alternative Government, as they call it now, said, we'd like to reach out to Sifuna and the others who were in Kakamega yesterday. Let's work together, because all of us have the same objective, one term for William Ruto. Will you reach out to them?
I think there is a general acceptance, if you speak to ordinary Kenyans, is that we need an overwhelming repudiation of William Ruto and everything that he stands for. You know, it has to be overwhelming. We must beat William Ruto by at least 5 million votes. Just Kenyans to demonstrate we reject this sort of thing, so that it is a lesson and a precedent for the entire country that if you ever build a government that does not listen to the people, we will send you home. That precedent is critical for the future of this country. So in order for you to achieve that overwhelming repudiation, there is a common understanding amongst the population that we must approach this election as a unit. We must be one force against William Ruto. I want to give this assurance here, because there's people who think that our movement is going to split the vote or anything like that. That is not what our intention is. I want to assure anybody who believes that our country cannot afford another 5-year term for William Ruto, we will not be the problem. That's what I'm telling Kenyans this morning. We will not be the problem, because I can't countenance waking up and hearing William Ruto has won elections by 100,000 votes or 200,000 like he did last time. So the members of the united opposition, let them keep doing what they are doing. I said one time that when you go hunting for an animal, that is dangerous, because we are not under any illusion that it's going to be easy. This guy has the state. He has proclivities, inclinations to violence. You have seen it. It is possible for him to manufacture situations such as we've seen in Uganda and in Tanzania to ensure that we don't campaign, you know. So we know that we are up against it. Let nobody think that we think it is an easy thing. No. We are up against a very wily politician. We have to give him his flowers. He knows his stuff. So we must accept that he has certain strengths, and then agree that those strengths that he has does not allow much room for sentiment within the opposition ranks.
Right.
All of us must be able to agree and say, this is the formula that will take this gentleman home. When you are hunting an animal that is dangerous, you don't all come in from one direction. You know,
approach it from different angles.
Yes, you approach it from here. So I'm happy that now we are seeing them in Kisii, we are seeing them in other places. All of us must wake up the spirit of the nation and say, this is a moment that we need to set that precedent, that the people are supreme.
Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Eugene Wamalwa, George Natebea, Martha Karua, Justin Muturi, Cleophas Malala, Senator Oleseki, Muhammad Ali, another Kenyans of goodwill, Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino, and together we shall liberate our country.
So I hear William Ruto has succeeded in bullying these guys in the opposition, Kina Kalonzo, into, he says, these people just say one term, they don't have any agenda. I want William Ruto to know that his removal from office is a national priority agenda. It is the only agenda because he's
Edwin Sifuna and Babu were still on the other side. They were with Raila Odinga. After the death of Raila Odinga, now they are saying for them they are going to work with Rigathi Gachagua. So it means a grand anti-William Ruto alliance is being formed. And for me, that is the most dangerous part of this. Will William Ruto be able to withstand the pressure from this grand anti-Ruto alliance? That is the question. Number two, and for me this is worrying William Ruto and is not sleeping over it. For those who've been following the political developments in the Republic of Kenya very closely, William Ruto was sure that he was not going to get a credible candidate to challenge him. As a matter of fact, within William Ruto's camp, the question has always been, who can defeat William Ruto? That was a very difficult question to answer sometimes back. But now, if Edwin Sifuna and Rigathi Gachagua were to agree to front a candidate, then that candidate is going to be credible. But not only credible, these two individuals, when it comes to delivery of their messages, when it comes to charging the crowd, they are on top. So which means these two individuals will now provide serious campaign platform, a dangerous one for the opposition. That is something which they lacked for a very long time. Let's assume today we have Matiang'i, we have Kalonzo, we have Martha Karua, Natembea, who else? Without Sifuna and Rigathi. Do you think that that team can really make Ruto lose sleep? I doubt. So the truth is, now William Ruto is worried because these guys will now have a serious campaign platform. If you give Edwin Sifuna a microphone, Ruto destroyed. You give Babu, Ruto destroyed. You give Rigathi, Ruto destroyed. So that is one of the second reason why they are worried. Number three, if you look at Edwin Sifuna and you look at Rigathi Gachagua, they have their unique support base. If you are to ask most Kenyans outside the mountain about Rigathi Gachagua, they will tell you that Rigathi is not good for this country. But if you go to the mountain and ask them the same question, Rigathi Gachagua has captured their imaginations. You come to Sifuna, Sifuna is a rebel within ODM party. But as things stand today, Sifuna has been able to create a cult-like following, which is now beyond ODM. And because of their unique support base, they are very difficult. For example, Rigathi, you can call Rigathi tribalist, whatever name you want, Mount Kenya will still vote for him. Then Edwin Sifuna on the other side, locking this other side. What will you call him? Will you say he's not a lawyer? Will you say he betrayed Raila? So these guys have unique followers. And that's the biggest threat William Ruto is actually facing. They're also very popular. Number 4 is the finance. The truth of the matter is that 2027 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya is going to be the most expensive election in the history of this country. Pesa itatembea. There was something about Kalonzo or even Matiang'i. Matiang'i is inspiring, but Kalonzo is not inspiring. No, Rigathi and Sifuna has brought something to the united opposition. And Kenyans were waiting for that something. And because they've brought something on the table, Kenyans will be willing to spend money. Kenyans will be willing to bet on his candidature. That is the honest truth. So which means in terms of finance, these guys will be able to generate enough finance for the campaigns. For William Ruto, I think he's locked his money somewhere. He's just waiting for the time. So finance. Number 5 is the Gen Z voting bloc. If you are serious, Rigathi Gachagua kind of reawakened the Gen Zs, but they were like, but Edwin Sifuna, what has Edwin Sifuna done? He has captured their imaginations. So which means if tomorrow the Gen Zs will wake up and then decide, because they are uncontrollable, and then they decide that us as Gen Zs, we are going to rally behind Sifuna and Rigathi, you can't stop them. So that Gen Z reawakening is really worrying Ruto, because they can tilt the equation. Number 6, politics is a game of numbers. You look at the IBC statistics, Mount Kenya and the Luyas. Those are probably the 2 most populous areas of our country. The registered voters in those regions are also very high. Now you bring them together. 2, Rigathi, Sifuna, then you bring them together. That game of numbers favors them. And remember, they are being powered by young people. So which means even rigging, they might attempt to block. If you are the president, what would you do? Would you not be worried? And importantly, there is something which is now coming out. The martyr effect. Anytime a Kenyan politician is arrested, or there are plans to arrest them, they will always trend. And some of them would always use those opportunities. But Rigathi has managed to use his impeachment to emerge as a martyr. The same to Sifuna. So that martyr effect means that, they are free and Kenyans are sympathetic to them. And lastly, these guys are also coming with insider information. When I talk of insider information, it means, like, for example, it's long, but when I was working at Okoa, Kenya, I used to know a lot of things happening there. I knew, like, if we were going for a rally in Emorwadi Kir, I'd know the person to call. So this insider information is what is worrying Ruto. Because with the insider information, they can really mess up or disrupt William Ruto's plan. I don't know what to think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.